This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon-only gameplays, plus a myriad of other perks, then check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Nekusar the Mindrazer versus Olivia Voldaren. All three colours, some mana ramp. So as far as I can tell, we can go in for... We can't go in for a turn 1 Liliana's Caress. It's a turn 3 Nekusar, turn 2 Liliana's Caress. Yeah, perfectly good hand to start off with, methinks. So let's grab ourselves a black and blue source. We've already got red in the hand. We'll hold off on that Bloodstained Mire for as long as we can. Underground Sea will do. Our opponent just starts things off with a swamp and passes the turn. We could get down the Fate Unraveller, I suppose. Or do we just want to get the tap land out of the way here? No, we'll get down the mountain and we'll go for the Fate Unraveller. We can start swinging in with that if our opponent doesn't get any creatures in. And then we're online for our Nekusar next turn. Alright, and that is destroy a target non-legendary creature, so that was never going to work on our commander anyway. Spiteful Visions we could go for. And that gets the tap land out of the way as well. Yeah, I think that's alright. Let's get rid of the cast down. Then we'll go for the Spiteful Visions as well. I doubt a Rakdos player is going to be getting rid of a Spiteful Visions. Got to be careful getting down Spiteful Visions though, because it's one of the only draw pain effects that actually deals damage to us as well. Most of the effects like that in the deck only affect our opponent. So we will get affected by our own wheels, just not as much as our opponent hopefully will. Well, they get into their red mana source, and each of us has to discard a card. Okay, as much as I don't like it, I'm going to go for Liliana's Caress there. And then I think it's a case of going for Bloodstained Mire into Memory Jar. And then we'll hold off on the Memory Jar until our next turn. I'm going to draw some more cards here. I mean, drawing the additional cards just gives us more discard fodder. Might actually be worth going in for Trinket Mage here. Trinket Mage into Mana Vault, into an island, into Nekusar. And then we can redirect the damage to Planeswalkers with this, I think. No, it's just players. That is a -2 twice. Yeah, we might just have to force the issue with the Liliana. So we'll go for Trinket Mage. Into the Mana Crypt. Play said Mana Crypt. And then we'll get down a blue and red source, should be okay. And then if they decide to minus down with Liliana, we can just go for sacrificing the Trinket Mage anyway. So that feels okay, going like that. And foregoing the Memory Jar for another turn. It's actually Niv-Mizzet Parun I'm thinking of, where you can redirect the damage to a Planeswalker. We can't do that in this deck. We're just going straight for our opponent's life total. And they draw additional cards twice, one from Nekusar, one from Spiteful Visions. And they're dealt 2 damage per card drawn, thanks to our Spiteful Visions and Nekusar. So they're down to 20. They ought to be able to make another land at this point. They've been struggling on lands. Okay, Mutavault. Don't see how that helps them really. But if this is a typical Rakdos build, I was going to say, they've probably got lots of spot removal, so they may just minus down the Liliana here. Minus down, get rid of Nekusar. So I think it's back onto the plan, depending on what we draw, of playing out Memory Jar, and then going for Nekusar whilst we can activate said Memory Jar. We lose the flip to Mana Crypt, get into an island that we will play this turn, and there's another one. So yeah, we'll just go like that into Memory Jar, and then we'll leave that open and see if our opponent is worried about counter magic. They might have removal for the Memory Jar. They do have red open with that mana confluence. And they might not go for their Olivia anyway, one because we've got counter magic mana held up, but two, because they want to hold on to spot removal for Nekusar. I'm sure they're expecting Nekusar to come down next turn, and then we crack the Memory Jar, which is absolutely what our plan is. Now it's a Cavern of Souls. Well, that switches off counter magic, but we don't have that anyway. Surprisingly, they named Dragon with that. I wonder what dragon they're aiming for. Each player discards a card, that's fine. Actually going to go for the island here, because I don't know if we're going to need triple black or an additional red, something like that. They discarded a City of Brass, by the way. And now they are going in for a dragon. And it is a Thundermaw Hellkite, so that puts us at a more even life total. And it's just a case of them trying to outrace us at this point. See if we get bolted here. We do, so they may well win this race. Yeah, I can't see myself caring about Commit to Memory. It's actually not a bad card to discard to Liliana because it's a wheel. Okay, Cataract Parasite goes well with the Nekusar. Yeah, let's go for that. That's 3 points of damage per card draw on our opponent. We go black into the Parasite. And then I'm sure we're going to get into another land, so we won't bother playing that one. We'll crack the Memory Jar. Draw into 7 cards, Nekusar. We'll deal 7 points of damage to our opponent, as will the Cataract Parasite and the Spiteful Visions. We'll go down by 7, but our opponent will go down by 21 here. And yeah, they see that and scoop it up. Yeah, not as convincing a game as we usually get with Nekusar. Our opponent had a lot of spot removal in the deck, and they got a lot of use out of that Liliana of the Veil. Liliana of the Veil is a good card, who knew?